Hi, my name is Dr. Sarah Vargas. I am a chiropractor here at Wellspring Center for Wellbeing, and you are watching a video on the introduction to network spinal. And I hope that you enjoy this video and walk away with a greater understanding of what it is that we do here at Wellspring and how it can help you in your health and well-being. We've been here in Dover in the big orange house on the river for the last 26 years with Dr. Deb, who's also a chiropractor here and owner, and has been a big inspiration for me over the years, which is why I went back to get my doctorate in 2007 and have been practicing network spinal ever since. And it's really a pleasure and honor to serve here with her and with you and to be part of this incredible community in the big orange house. So we hope that you do find your way into the building and getting on the table so that you can have the life-changing experience that so many other people have had. And one of the reasons you're here is that maybe this loved one or friend, or maybe you found us on the web. It's not always easy to explain network spinal. It's easy to experience it. And that's why we're here, because we want to create a greater understanding and just putting it into words. And also, I'm going to show a video at the end of Dr. Deb in training Vero, or giving a network session to Vero, so that you can have a visual sense and maybe even a felt sense as you watch the video of what it might be like for you and what people are experiencing. Okay. So what is network spinal? Network spinal is a chiropractic technique that was put together and developed by Dr. Donald Epstein in the mid 1980s. He is still with us today, and he's created a lot of different technologies, including somatorespiratory integration and more. The body of work addresses the spinal cord when it is overstretched during physical injury or when the body is under mental or emotional stress. So instead of adjusting or aligning your spine through forceful manipulation, a network spinal practitioner, that's us, helps you resolve tension patterns using a very light pressure on specific parts of the spine, commonly in your neck and tailbone, which you will see on the demo. The pressure can create a wave-like movement or vibration and a breathing pattern to occur along the spine, which helps to release and unwind the tension in your overall body and system. So really no twisting, popping, or cracking is necessary, although this is a pretty common side effect for people to experience on the table or off the table when they get home later, to just feel their spine start to do the cracking and popping on its own. This is an evidence-based approach to wellness care, and with our gentle, precise touches to the spine, we're cueing the higher brain to self-regulate tension in the body. So often our system is in a state of overwhelm, or what we call fight or flight. And when we're in a state of fight or flight, the body's not able to self-regulate as well. And so this is where we start to feel pain and symptoms and even disease, as the body and the brain are like, we just got to get through life instead of doing its natural healing process. So two unique healing waves develop that are associated with spontaneous release of spinal and life tension, or what we call stress, as well as the use of existing tension or pain as fuel for spinal reorganization. This increases your physical adaptive strength, life enjoyment, increases focus, and upgrades your system's processing capacity to daily life. So your nervous system, your brain and spinal cord are like a computer. And how much time do we ever really spend upgrading our own computer technology? We're always upgrading our phones and our computers and our cars or whatever it is, but we're not always paying as much attention to the most important one of all, which is our body. This is my spine. This was taken quite a few years ago. I do have what we call a scoliosis. You can see that my spine is not straight up and down. Well, why does this matter? I wanted to show you this because this used to scare me. Before I became a chiropractor and I was in traditional chiropractic, I was really scared of my spine being so crooked. And when I got to network care and I met Dr. Deb way before I became a chiropractor, I felt like I was home in this body of work, and I felt safe, and I felt like she was teaching me that, what if your body's not wrong? And what if actually the shape and tension and position of your spine is actually fuel for your growth and well-being, which you heard me say before. This was inspirational to me. This was comforting to me. This was sort of mind-blowing to me that, okay, maybe my spine's not straight up and down, but my curves are powerful. And I'm sure that whatever's going on in your body, you are in the perfect place and time right now as well. And what I want you to know is just, I felt so seen and held and heard in that moment. And we want the same for you, and to know that wherever you are in this moment is the perfect place to be, that there's nothing to be fixed. We don't come to the table with a need to fix anything about you. We're actually just, and this is one of the most inspiring things for me in coming into chiropractic, is to help people realize that coming home into their body as it is, and knowing that we can grow and change and adapt more efficiently and effectively, is really important to me. And we want to support you in that as well. The power that made the body heals the body. And it's in every single one of us. It's in me, it's in you. We've all got this power. It's the life force that creates your magical body. It's the same power that creates worlds. And how powerful is it? Well, it really depends on how much stress you're handling and how effective you are at handling it. So each and every one of you is experiencing multiple stressors, I'm sure, and those are impacting your life and your health and your relationships. And to really have the full experience of what it can be like for you, that would be incredible. And your ability to heal, your ability to adapt, your ability to adjust, your ability to have more joy is tenfold. And how nice would that be? And your body is so powerful. It knows just what to do when it is given just the right input. So just like the trees know, hey, it's fall, it's time to start dropping our leaves, it's time to start, going inward. Hey, it's spring, it's time to start budding, it's time to start producing leaves. Your body has the same information of how to heal itself and take care of itself, especially when given the right proper nourishment and input. So we want to enhance that power within you. One of the things that diminishes that power, like I said, is stress. I think the true pandemic of our time has been overall stress. And of course, COVID is the big cherry on top of all of that for us. So the fight or flight switch is on, and it's on more often than it's not. So we got to get from fight or flight to rest and digest. And that's where we want to live. So what happens when you put our world into your body? We talk about information overload right now. When we're in a state of overwhelm, or what we call fight or flight, some even call it a primal state of being. Okay, do we broaden our focus or do we narrow it? We narrow it. And fight or flight creates patterns of reroute as well. So more often than not, everything that we're experiencing is too much. And so rerouting it makes it easier on our system in the moment, but over time, this is a detriment. And that's when we really start to notice even more symptoms and even disease processes happening. If there's no room for anything outside of our reality, of our world, and we're trying to contain it and keep it small and comfortable, when it gets too much, we feel like we can't manage it. And that's pretty scary for many of us. And so we lose those in-between spaces in life. We lose the spaces in between where we can find our joy, where we can take a breath, where we can relax, where we can engage with other humans that we care deeply about. So again, like I said, we're updating our phones and our computers all the time, but the body's often taking a back seat. At Wellspring, I think this is where we shine. And we're specializing in optimizing your nervous system, your inner technology. So when we're in a powerful state of rest and digest, when we can create something of meaning in our life, that connects us more deeply to who we are. And I call that a coming home to ourselves, a coming home to who we really are and what we really want, a sense of feeling in alignment with our inner being. We're able to access that wisdom within that moves us forward into more of our joy beyond the noise of the fight or flight. So how many of you out there had any doctor ever talk to you about this power? The power that made the body heals the body. Anyone ever get taught this? If you've got chiropractors in your life, you probably have, or some other alternative healing practitioner. Or maybe you just have an internal sense like, I just feel like my body knows what to do. Well, you're right on the money. Your body does know what to do. And this power is really important to be freed up. And we free up that power through the network spinal entrainment. As a culture in our healthcare system, we've gone from a people-centered care to diagnosis care to even a metric-centered care, where we're often more concerned about our numbers. We're often looking to see if there's a problem, like what's your cholesterol? And at Wellspring, we're teaching you to remember that there's a wisdom within that can also be part of the conversation. A very important part of the conversation is that inner knowing. And so for many people, this is a huge flip of the script. We can have that personal authority over our well-being and our healing process. Fancy that. So is the information crystal clear that's coming through in your nervous system, the brain-body connection? Deb and I are really here to help support and honor you as the individual in your wholeness, to help you come home to yourself, to help you listen to that inner wisdom, and to remember to empower you to choose what is best for you. And when we quiet that noise of fight or flight, you can truly hear that. University of California Irvine College of Medicine retrospective study is a study that was done for network spinal care specifically and involved over 2,800 patients from over 100 different offices. What it showed was improved physical states, improved mental emotional state, improved response to stress, improved life enjoyment, improved overall quality of life. And in fact, over 70% of the people that were receiving network care were very clear that they wanted to stay under network care. We love this study because it really shows how the impact of the overall spine and quality and state of our nervous system impacts every area of life. Here, we're just showing that the nerve system is at the core of each of these domains that we're seeing: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual flexibility. The key really is what we call coherence, or the advanced processing capacity of our nervous system. This all increases your physical stamina, energy levels, and comfort in your own skin. This all improves. So the more energy your brain and body, spine is using to be in a protective state or fight or flight, the less energy we have for healing. It's really important that we get that level of noise down, because now we'll have more energy for healing. Emotions, adaptation, and immunity, our ability to feel and digest and have strength, is super valuable. It allows us to adapt to the world with more efficiency, experiencing life more fully, access to joy and happiness. And this actually really improves our immune function too. The emotions that we experience, they have to move somewhere in our body. So they often will move through the long muscles of the spine and the long muscles of the body, and also our immune system. When we have coherence, then all of those systems are actually upgraded pretty significantly. Thoughts and the bigger picture, the who and why you are. More coherence also equals clarity of mind, more organized thoughts. It feels like we're able to see the bigger picture as well as the smaller details, and putting those together with more ease. We have that energy to actually follow through on the things that we desire. Well, if you knew that your body could work 300% more efficiently than it is right now, wouldn't you jump on the opportunity? So energy efficiency is the answer to energy deficiency. How do I get there? Well, network care. It's your energy efficient resource, and everything is energy. And that's all there is to it, said Albert Einstein. That's what we're made of. We are made of the stuff that creates worlds. And when we can create coherence in every aspect of our system, then we can be a more effective adapter to life. We can be more engaged and more involved and more present and more energized and more joyful. This doesn't mean that we're not ever going to have pain anymore, because if you're on the planet in a body, there's going to be pain. But what it does mean is that how you move through life is going to be significantly different. Your relationship to all of those processes is going to change. So there's two ways to embody greater efficiency, and one is to move out of chronic fight or flight. We've talked quite a bit about that, and into more peace. And that will, in the beginning of your care, will be developing a respiratory wave, or what we call a breath wave. And oh boy, the breath wave is really, that is when we notice this great sense of ease and relaxation in our body, where we just feel and we notice how much we just exhaled, what the respiratory wave can bring in and help us start to unwind. Two, increasing your processing capacity. Do more with less energy. And that changes the neurological wiring of our adaptive stress response, which is connected to behaviors that hold you back in life. So the second wave that starts to develop is the network wave, or what we call the somatopsychic wave, body mind wave. As these waves come in, what it's telling us is that your nervous system is learning new strategies into how it responds to life, and it becomes more effective at it and more efficient. I really appreciate your time and energy in listening to this. If you do have any questions, I think a lot's going to be answered as we move into the video of Dr. Deb and Vero as you witness her getting entrained. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you in the office.
Hello, I'm Dr. Deb, and I am going to show you or give you a demonstration of a network chiropractic entrainment. So generally when you start, you're going to be face down like this. And one of the things that we look at, and one of the things that Dr. Sarah has talked to you about, is how information moves. And the beautiful thing about an entrainment, it's like tuning a guitar string. We make the contacts along the spine where the brain is listening and not where the noise or the stress is. So we make very specific contacts along the spine, like plucking a guitar string, and we make the right contact at the right time. It sends a signal to the brain to find areas of tension, to find areas of what we call dissonance, and allow the nervous system to begin to do its magic, to have you do its magic, to begin to unwind or tune in to the resonance of peace, of ease, and in further along in network care will be transformation, meaning you're going to be breaking through patterns of how you do you, and the nervous system is going to have a broader bandwidth in order to be able to meet and match the same life you have. It's not about the life changing around you, it's about you changing how you interface with life. So a couple of things that we're looking for is when we're making contacts and we're assessing you on the table, we're going to be looking for the passive system. That means your bones, your ligaments, all this connective tissue that's throughout our whole body. And our job is to see where is the energy and what pattern. There are 5 phases of tension and patterns of postures that you can be in at any given time. And so our job is to see what pattern are you resonating with. A pattern is like a different genre of music. So if you have a genre of music, like one day you feel like you're really into rock and roll and you want to listen to Jimi Hendrix, that's the vibe your body is in. That's what you're going to see through. If you're going to see the world as rock and roll. Next day you're going to be like, you know what, my body just needs some classical music. So when we assess you, we're saying like, what phase, what music are you into right now? And then you show us, there's every single posture has a very specific area along the spine that's associated with it. It's like there's a posture that's associated with every experience we have. And in network care, there are 5 main ways in. And as we make contacts, we are going into that posture so that posture can free itself of the tension that it might be holding or the information that it may be not downloading, which is going to drain your energy. Sometimes that's just your body's not going to be healing the way it should be. That could mean that you don't have the emotional bandwidth to be able to deal with a situation. That could be meaning that you feel stuck in life. You feel like you can't quite get past the other side. It could be many different things, a longing that you have to be able to go, gosh, I really want to find out more of who I am, but the body resonance isn't in resonance to what your mind is telling you to do. So basically, this is going to get your body in resonance and make your brain actually be in sync with that resonance. So we talk about psychosomatic. Well, this is somatopsychic. Soma means body, psychic means mind. And so we're going to let your nervous system interface with the information that it needs so that you can meet and match how your body needs to heal, what you want your life to do, and what actions and feelings and experiences you want more of. So we're checking the passive system. We're also checking the active system. That's the active system means your muscles, and that's where our emotions like to hang out. So you'll see as I come down here, I'm just checking the spinal cord tension. Donnie Epstein, who's the founder of Network Care, talks about the shape, tone, and position of your nervous system is in direct relationship to the shape, tone, and position of your life. So in a moment, you're going to see me make a contact, and sometimes, because Vero here has had care, these areas along her spine, which are called gateways, they're called gateways because they're a gateway into the higher brain and consciousness. And so the nervous system is able to pick up that information and do what it needs to do to unwind and to digest information. And because with Network Care, the work is cumulative, when people have had care, these gateways along their spine, they're like radio stations. They're able to pick up the information around you. Everyone knows what it's like to walk into a room and be able to cut the tension with a knife, right? Well, that's real. And so it depends on what your nervous system is capable of doing on how you respond to different environments. So you can also walk into a room and go, wow, this is my tribe, this is my feeling. That's what people feel when they come in here. Their body just relaxes before they even get on the table. And so I'm checking all these parameters, the nerve, the bones, the muscles, representing your life force, representing your emotions and your mind. And we're going to see what we can do to help Vero unwind and tune in to what's happening. I'm going to have you turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right, beautiful, and back to center. And you'll see most of the contacts we make are up high in the neck or down in the sacrum. You will also see me touch other places along the body, but the reason that this is effective here and here is because it's where the spinal cord is connected by little ligaments to the actual vertebra. So when we make contacts here, it picks up that vibration, like I said, like a tuning fork or a guitar string, and it can actually start to vibrate. The nervous system communicates through vibration. Everything is communicated through vibration and waves. And so one of the indicators that the nervous system is picking up information is that when I make a contact to these areas that are connected to the spinal cord and to the vertebra, Vero's brain can pick that up, and I'm just going to make the contact again in the spine. If you notice, right now I'm making a contact here at the sacrum, and we're going to do that again, and I want you to look right here. I'm not even going to tell her. I want you to look right here because this is the area, and you see that right there. Breath comes in. Breath is very important. You don't have to think about your breath. Your breath is just going to happen. Breath tells us that the brain is moving in out of fight or flight and into peace and ease. And this is also like a remote control, meaning that I'm making a contact here to affect this part of her spine and this part of her spine. So all you want to notice without having to try to figure out here is, what do you see? You saw some movement, you saw some breath. These are all signs that the nervous system is coming online because we're going to use movement and breath. The other part is sometimes you'll hear sound, because as the nervous system comes into alignment, it's like tuning, like getting into the right pitch of a note. You're going to see that happen, and sometimes sound will come out of the mouth. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes people think, what is that? So what we're going to do is we're going to do another contact, because what happened is her body like released tension of that frequency, of that posture, and it changed the channel. So I'm following, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to go ahead and make my contact right in the right place that's associated. And one of the things that you might see is you're going to look, is there movement? Is there breath? What are you noticing? What's happening is her brain is now finding tension, and it's naturally starting to unwind it. What will happen when you first get on the table is when that starts to happen, a lot of the noise that's in the head will start to dissipate, because the nervous system for most of us is listening to life through a transistor radio. And we're helping you listen to life through a Bose stereo system. So one of the things we're going to do, there's a lot of emotion ready to sort of be translated. When I say that, emotion is energy in motion. It allows us to navigate our world internally and externally. And the way that you're going to notice that on the table with an entrainment is the body's going to have a desire to stretch. So let's see what happens here. And if you look really closely, because she has this gateway already developed, she's already responding. And I want you to notice how you feel watching this, because it's different. It's different than what you just witnessed. See the stretching happening. What's happening is she's trying to digest some of the tension that's been held right through here. And we're going to stay with it. We're going to let her body really, really be able to access that information. Sometimes we'll go around it, so I'm just going to guide her. And we're going to position her so that she can actually be able to stretch into some of that information she wasn't able to download before, which created tension, maybe created a lot of thinking. Just notice. Ever see a cat or a dog in the morning, the first thing they do is they make sound and they unwind. What we're doing is we're hacking into the nervous system, allowing your body to reclaim that. Reclaim the Bose stereo system of your birthright, so that when you're living life, whether it's your body is having a hard time healing, whether it's you're having a hard time with anxiety or stress or depression, whether you feel like you're stuck and you can't move forward, these are all classic symptoms that the nervous system is hearing like noise, white noise, and not getting the clarity that it needs to take the action that it needs. And if you were here, you could feel, what does it feel like in here? Does it feel different?
More open.
More open. And when I feel her tissues, what's happening is instead of the bones having a lot of tension, and there was no, it was kind of like in the active system, which is the muscles, now there's a lot less tension here. But really what's in its place is what we call coherence. There's a lot more communication. If you can see, her back is flatter here. Beautiful. And then we're just going to end by really just letting her kind of put it all together, and you're going to see that this is much more organized. When you have an organized wave, you have an organized life. Still unwinding. And when we're through with an entrainment, every entrainment is cumulative. And that's what we call a network session, an entrainment, because what's happening is your own rhythms of your nervous system, which means everything in from your bones to your muscles to your ligaments to your nervous system are all starting to synchronize. Your heart rhythms, your breath rhythms are starting to synchronize. And so when we're through the session is still doing its thing. And when you get care, you're having multiple sessions which allow this information to accumulate. Every time we make a contact, we're leaving breadcrumbs for your brain to know how to do that again and again on its own. So the brain and the nervous system start to self-assess and will literally start to self-adjust. If you know anybody, you have any friends or family that have gotten network care, ask them about that. Ask them about their experience. So we're gonna just there's still a little bit more of information that's just wanting to really kind of digest and unwind. So we're gonna add a little bit of stretch in there. That's it. Beautiful. You can take a moment and and sit on up. Once you sit, close your eyes. So if you notice, sometimes you'll naturally move into the posture as that posture is unwinding. And if you noticed what this last part of this entrainment, you could feel that you could hear the release of the nervous system. And in one or two words, what can you share? First of all, look at that face. Look at this face. What can you share about your experience that you're aware of?
Just like the feeling of it being safe to be in your body and feeling the things that your body is feeling.
Yeah, that's powerful. Because a lot of times we can feel things. How many of you have said, oh God, I felt like I was gonna cry, but then it just went away, right? That's your nervous system not having the bandwidth or capacity to have the emotion, to have the experience. So many of us are walking around with fragmented nervous systems that aren't able to have a full experience. So we're having partial experiences. And even if you don't think you're not safe in your body, the reality is when things are fragmented, we don't really even know where our body is, and therefore we don't feel safe in our body. So we really hope that you enjoyed this talk on network care, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email us, or if you're already coming in here, ask us tableside. Thank you, Vera, for allowing us to use you in this moment of demonstration, and we'll see you soon.